Yeah.
We're live now. Let me check everything. Man, how you been doing? How's everything going?
Yes, very good. It is springtime over here, so a month too early.
Oh
So
yeah.
the birds are singing, the flowers are coming out of the ground.
Okay.
It's great.
Yeah, we got Rose Bar. Annette is in the house. Annette Burgers. Hello, Annette. Joe
Oh,
Delaney's here. What's going on? Michael Gabe.
nice. We're just
Just
starting.
give it a few. Let me share this to the group. Yeah, I'm having a hell of a time
Yeah,
personally. I'm
a
having
hell of a time in a positive
a
manner.
well, yeah, it's positive, but it's also excruciating to the human being, to the man. It's.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a huge shift occurring. I think it. I mean, it's out there. It's obvious with the
yeah,
masculine, and I got to say, I think it. I think it's all. The what the strength and the weakness is all in our sacred sexuality, in our sexuality.
yeah. It's the energy of
I
life,
think.
so the
Yeah.
creative energy,
Yeah.
and it is only love. Only, yeah, we sometimes make it a bit um, strange.
Somebody said I'm having a baby.
Oh,
Barbie
really?
started.
Right now? At this moment?
There's something in my stomach. I don't know what the hell it is. So
Congratulations.
yeah, Morgan and I. Yeah, yeah, we had a baby. It's called Soulogy. Yeah, the third
Yes?
energy.
Great.
Uh, so Barbie, I don't. I'm. That's what. If that's what you're talking about, I'm a little bit. I'm defragging this morning. I've gone through a couple of days of some great stuff, but it's challenging to the human being, to the man.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's
and
nice
I
what
and I,
you're saying with the baby from three, the third
yeah,
energy.
yeah. Well, it's true. Yeah,
It's nice to
it's true.
create that with Morgan, that the two energies combined.
Yeah, about a week ago, I can barely sit in my chair right now.
How come? What's happening? What happened?
It's a kundalini. It's the energy in my root. Uh, is I don't know if it wants to come or go. No pun intended. If it's
Okay.
going or coming, if it's coming or going,
I hope it's
I'm like
circulating.
I'm split. I'm trying to circulate it. Well, I'm
Yeah.
not. I mean, yeah, I could circulate it. Let me try to circulate it. Yeah, that's better.
Just breathe it
Um, yeah,
upwards.
I feel like I'm split. And I know that I'm reflective of the masculine journey.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, our programming, the depth of our programming is I think finally coming to light. You know, the feminine energy's been working on this stuff for, I remember when they came out. It was right the same time I met Morgan. It was the fall of 2015. So all their stuff, and of course they talk. They've always talked to each other and supported each other. So all that
Yeah.
stuff's been put out there, and all the journeys are different. We've talked about it, you and I, and so like I mean, we haven't talked about it. The men haven't talked about it. They're trying to talk about it, but they don't know how to talk. I'm in the same boat. So
Yeah.
all we can do is just keep talking about it.
Yeah.
So I'm
And then
defragging
find a
at the
way.
moment. I'm defragging at the moment. I've talked about this before. You know,
Yeah.
um, this sacred sexuality is mind blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing. I was telling Morgan, I don't know how two people could get together in this energy, in this time, and come together and start having physical sex in the old way immediately. I don't see how they could do it because from a man's perspective, there's so many deeply embedded um, patterns and behaviors having to do with performance, having to do with self um, deprecation / self love, having to do with am I good enough, having to do with I've got to do this. That's what a man does. I mean, these patterns
Yes.
that we have, even right down to the physical aspect of the woman's body. Okay, so which is a universe,
Yeah.
which I've learned for the last 3 years that there's portals all over her body.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we have this programming that, that we're supposed to do this and we're supposed to do that. We're supposed to focus on this and focus on that. And I think the feminine has realized a long time ago that none of that matters, right? None of it matters.
No.
And
Yeah.
and and we gotta let go of that. We gotta let go of that. And I know on the other side, because I've had glimpses of it. I know on the other side that you know, remove those false identities and false impressions and man, the sacred sexual energy is, as you know, is absolutely uh soulgasmic in all
Yeah.
parts of the body,
Yeah.
which as a lover is great to see in her. But I think, for the men, we still got some work to do. And maybe I'm just talking out my ass and maybe I'm just talking about me. I really don't care. But I know one thing, it's liberating as hell to do this. And I can't think of anyone better to do it with than you. So
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it is liberating, and what how I experience it, it is also what the man and what we want to unite and to come together. But in the liberation, there's also confrontation with all the blockages, all the past
Hmm.
hurt, all the and that comes out. And then while we are coming close together, there's also can be fear. Coming up, the fear of being left alone, the fear of and usually what I notice with Annette, it's when we are filling in our the thoughts of some of the other, and
Yeah.
we think what I think what she thinks, and but that is not what she's thinking, but that is based on my old program
Yeah.
of some bad experience, and
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Yes. So let's talk about that. Let's give examples of that because I was talking to Morgan about that. I actually opened up to her just 30 minutes ago as
ah,
this stuff was coming to me. I've been going through, let's see. So it was 2 nights ago. No, no, no. Is that right? I can't remember. God, it's so hard to remember anything,
yeah,
right?
time, huh?
No, it was two
Okay,
nights ago. Uh, I, as we all do, have this ongoing discussion with our ego, our human, and our higher self, or whatever. I don't know.
yeah,
And I said to myself, I said, I've had enough. I'm done with this. I'm done with these, like you just said, thinking for her, being a slave to these old patterns.
yeah, it's terrible.
Even though I've made a tremendous amount of progress, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
mean, I just said I don't want, I don't want to have anything to do with that. At the same time, my body is going through all these changes, like everybody. The light body's kicking in,
Yeah,
and there was a point when I really hit my knees. What Summer of 2018, and I literally told Mother Universe, just take my balls, take everything, take my sexuality, take everything from me, take anything that's a false power away from me. But I didn't know it was going to happen again.
yeah, 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 yeah. But
So,
but it
you
is a
know,
good power.
But yes,
In
it's a good
fact.
power. My higher self told me today when I set my feet on the earth, said, I am shutting you down. We are shutting you down. This is your decision. We are going to shut you down until you get this right.
Okay. So you're gonna
So
take control of things.
I don't have a choice. I took control from a higher level. Uh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
and I got to believe that this is going on collectively with the men.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very hard. It's like as if we have suddenly the possibility to use a sort of a turbo jet instead of a horse and wagon, and we have to learn how to deal with it because it can go out of control. And yeah, that's how
So,
I see it because the feelings are so intense and so vulnerable and naked and
so,
open and intimate that
yeah. So
it's
do
also
you do?
terrifying.
Yes, it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
excuse my,
yeah.
excuse my French. I'm trying not to curse on here anymore. But so,
It's just making
so
love
do
and
you,
fucking,
I
so
mean,
it's not a bad
you've been
word.
in a relationship for a while.
Yeah,
I know you had to have some moments that were 3D. I don't want to say animalistic, but I mean, uh, less emotional. Well, 3D sex, okay, and then there's moments of sacred.
yeah.
Has there been an evolution for you and for the couple, or is that too personal?
No, there's definitely been an evolution, and yeah, it's going more deeper and more on a spiritual level, more the union of the soul, and that is so much more intimate than only the physical physical union. But what I did or thought for a while was that I rejected the physical. So I thought I only wanted the spiritual communion, but the physical and the spiritual, it's all one, of course, is also a part of it. I
Yeah.
notice, but yeah, it's an
So
energy, a dance of energies, and it can go in all kind of directions
yeah,
because yeah, it creates all kinds of physical
yeah,
things.
makes you squirm in your chair.
Yeah.
So, so yeah. See, so for me, it's like what's happened to me over the last couple of days. And now it's like my body has separated from my mind. Okay, so my mind is going, uh, you know, you need to do this, or you're not good enough, or what's wrong with you, or you know, whatever. All right, and
And
my
you're
body,
observing it now
y-
from another
well,
point of
yeah,
view. Yeah,
yeah, I'm observing it. I mean, I'm not like prisoner to it, but I'm listening. I'm watching it. I think
yeah,
watching it is a better way. And then my body is like, okay, so I would say it like this: my body is aligning with my soul, and is more aligned with my soul, uh, as opposed to it having been more aligned with my mind. Okay, now we're getting
yeah,
somewhere.
yeah,
Yeah, so my body is aligning with my soul, and let's say sacred sexual vibration, where before my body was aligned with my mind,
yeah.
which
The
was a
old
whole
programming.
which was a whole mind fuck that I'm finding out how deep all this stuff went. Now, I feel good. I know I've shifted. My body is more aligned with my soul, but my mind is having a problem.
Yeah, the mind
my
is
mind
protesting
my
because
mind
it
is having a
loses
is a
control.
yeah, my mind is having a problem here.
Yeah, but I think that's a good, yeah, that's normal because the mind had to take a lot of time control to live, and now it's more from a soul perspective. And the best thing is to, I think that everything is working together. That's the alignment, but they all want to take control. The soul wants to take control, the mind wants to take control, but it's best to surrender to the soul and
Yeah,
use the mind as an instrument and not being guided by it,
yeah.
because the mind is always trying to enslave us. What I notice
Well,
in a
I don't.
negative way.
Yeah, I don't know how to use the mind as an instrument. I mean,
You're doing
to
that.
me, I am. Yeah. Okay. So like discernment. Yeah. What I'm finding too is talking about it.
Yeah, that's
Right?
difficult.
Like I know, like I can put my hands on Morgan. I can put him on her back. I can put him different places. You know, non traditional sensuous spots or whatever erogenous zones. They're all over. First of all, they're
Yeah,
everywhere. And
yeah,
what I found is I know that the power, my power is truly my heart, right? So
yeah,
I can project that power into my fingers, my hands, you know. I can do that just like, you know, I guess Reiki. I've never done Reiki or
yeah.
anything,
Reiki. I
but
was just
so
thinking that.
but so that's not 3D sexuality. The sacred sexuality seems to be well, it's totally different. It's not even, there's nothing to compare it to,
No,
and
it's
it's
totally.
play it's and as a man, it's wreaking havoc because um you know, we thought we were supposed to go to work, we thought we were supposed to go to war, we thought we are supposed to be a warrior, we thought we were supposed to be Mr. Fix It around the house, we thought we are supposed to be you know, Johnny, Johnny, whatever in the bedroom,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and here's the thing. So you love your partner so much and worship and adore, especially in these energies as we're all expanding, and you want to express that,
yes,
and so it's like a tear, and I think that to me was the best way to describe it, which just actually came up with while I was talking to you, which is my body is aligning with my soul, where before it was aligned with um, my mind. Yeah.
yes, 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 yes.
So you
That's
went through a period. You went through a period of um, being at an arm's distance from the physical.
yeah. I went to a period like that, and I still I try to manage the energy inside myself, the Reiki, the Kundalini, the Chi, the Shakti, by keeping the life energy circulating in the body. So, but sometimes it gets so strong that it wants to sort of come out. But I feel that the body is adapting to it, to the being able of a higher energy level to contain it. So yeah, they say the DNA structures are changing. Of course, that must be for the light body to be activated. Although maybe it has not much to do with the physical realm, but I think it's unfolding in a more complex form, a more complex, finer form of energy, and that's definitely what we feel in the contact also. So, but it's it's always difficult to leave the old because that's what we are used to, and the instinct tells us, yeah, we are actually losing control. But to lose control towards this, towards the soul, towards the divine, is a good way to lose control, because there's an intelligence that is so much higher than our dualistic brain. But still, it can work together with the brain, because it's necessary to operate here in the 3D realm, to move around. And also, and yeah, what I notice is that even while the contact with Annette, the feelings are more intense. You feel what they feel, and if they feel bad, and that is very hard to let it by herself, because then I want to fix it, of course. But then my mind is going to try to interfere and tell me you have to do this or you have to do that, and it wants to have control over the feelings, over her feeling good, me feeling guilty when she doesn't feel good. But of course, yeah, they have a right to feel good, and it is like it is. And but yeah, I find
Yeah.
it hard. Yeah, that then the negative thoughts can come up. Not good
Yeah.
enough, being rejected, what's going on, yeah, those things. And then the contraction happens of the energetic body, and then the fear can take over, and that's very
Yeah.
contagious, because most of the
Yeah.
time Annette is the one who is in fear, and
Hmm.
then it's hard to not get affected by it. She had her
Yeah.
Reiki diploma, by the way, this week,
She did.
Annette. Yeah,
Congratulations. Yeah.
yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. She's
So,
doing so good. Yes, it's
yeah.
amazing. Yeah,
Uh, yeah, I think that's part of it too, is what you just said. Like, I just feel like that the masculine a lot of people have talked about the masculine's beginning to come out, and you see a lot, and what you see is a lot of it's like walking on thin ice,
oh
like you're
yes,
walking on, you know what I mean? It's like what I see is like hey, we're afraid, and just
yeah,
say it. We're
yeah,
afraid.
yeah.
Look,
It's
like
like a
for instance,
newborn, new experience,
yeah,
and we have to
yeah,
learn to
it's like
walk
you're,
again.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly, and
and
it's freaky.
yeah, and not walk as they think that we should walk, or as we think that we should walk to get accepted, but purely from the source within that knows exactly what to do, and it doesn't condemn the masculine. It
No,
doesn't
and
condemn the feminine
yeah,
as it is.
no.
So it just balances things inside us and also in our relationship. And
Well,
those
and I,
two energies combined is amazing.
yeah, yeah. Well, you know, and look, we know this. We've talked about this. Everybody's observed it for the last few years. It's been 75%, 25%. Now it's maybe 65-35 or 60-40 as more men are coming out. But this piece, this, I don't say it's the final piece, but you know, it's like they showed us the way. Uh, we've we've expanded our awareness enough to a point to really start talking about these things and knowing that we have something to bring to this party, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
we
They
got
need us
something we got
just as
something
much
to
as we have.
offer.
Yeah,
So huh,
exactly.
yeah, and so like you said, it's like we're learning to walk again, right? And we're doing it on our own 2 feet. So if you look at something like what you brought up, uh, if your partner is upset,
Yeah,
which has nothing to do with you, right? Because you said you can pick up on her feelings and this and that.
yeah,
And we carried a sense of responsibility.
Yes,
We felt responsible for
exactly.
their emotional health and so on. And that's a program.
Yeah, yeah. And what I noticed with Annette, her program is to if she it's all we all need attention and we sometimes indirectly ask for it, and her program is to not exactly playing the victim but on an energetic level trying to get attention by that, but that's not, then she's not in her power. So, but because I have sort of maybe the savior syndrome, because then I feel needed, and then I'm okay, I can fix it, and I'm gonna save her, and she's the victim. But I need to let her save herself. So what I'm doing now, and we talked about this yesterday, I say when we notice in each other that we are in some kind of state, we have to try not to fix it, but then uh, uh, we have to separate, go in another room, and then think about it, and then get in touch with the inner source, our true inner source, not the programming that's trying to control us. And it's getting rewarded because it's used to that. But we have to deprogram that. But that's very hard to do because the body is so used to that, and so yeah, it worked almost a lifetime, the
Yeah.
being the playing the victimhood, or someone who needs help, or someone who needs but it can also be yeah, an out of control archetype when it's too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So that's how we try to rebalance it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and see
Well, the victim creates the savior, right?
yeah,
And the savior creates the
creates the
victim, right?
victim.
So,
And yeah,
yeah. So,
but yeah, it still it's
I
hard.
gotta tell I gotta tell you what happened to me on Valentine's Day.
Ah, on Valentine's Day.
These energies the last few days have been incredible,
Yeah,
absolutely incredible. I know yesterday morning was the biggest shift I've ever had when I said enough. I've had enough of this old paradigm, this
you
old
surrender to it,
masculine.
or you
I
just
just said,
said,
yeah, I said that. No, I said I'm done with it. I'm not doing it anymore. And I think I'm defragging today, and I'm thankful to be talking to you about it. So let me tell you, in terms of the savior thing, right?
yeah,
So things play out right before our faces, whatever the energy is we're carrying. We know that, right? And so Valentine's morning, I think it was Valentine's morning. I don't remember exactly. Yeah. Anyway, I was going my way. Morgan was going her. We respect each other's solitude or whatever was happening, and we weren't like connected, which is not a big deal. 99% of the time we are, but it wasn't anything said or anything. I went to the store, and she stayed home. And the whole time I'm going to the store, I'm like having these revelations, like, uh, you know, everyone has to handle their stuff. I need to handle my stuff. She handles her stuff. As a relationship, we handle stuff together, and so on and so on. And I was really feeling in my power, and that power was let live and let be. Right? Let people find their own way, or let people heal themselves, or let people have time alone, or whatever the case is. I needed my time alone, this and that. Right? So I go back, and we're like, okay, you want to go for a drive? And there's a mountain about a mile from the house, and there's a stream that runs next to the road, and then there's a trail that we'd never been down that we didn't know went to a waterfall.
ah,
So we pull
wow,
we pull up in the place. We pull up in the place, and she got out and started walking down the trail.
yeah,
And being that I was thinking for her, okay, I was thinking, oh, she wants to be by herself.
yeah, yeah,
which
yeah,
was
yeah. I know
which
her.
wasn't the case, which wasn't the case at all. So I went the other way. Okay. I went down the stream and I went and had a few moments alone, and I was like, okay, I'm okay. I'm cool. Uh, I go back to the car and she's not there. And I thought, okay, well, she went down that trail. She's a big girl. She knows how to handle herself. No big deal. And I'll just wait here for half an hour or so. And then, something doesn't, she doesn't show up. I might go look for her. All of a sudden, it starts to rain. And I'm talking about rain, like a deluge starts raining.
Wow.
And I see a trail that she walked down, and it's big enough for a car. So I'm thinking to myself the whole time before this happens, allow people to find their own way. You know what I mean? For
Yeah, yeah,
myself,
yeah,
that's what
yeah,
I ask for myself. I need to do that for others. And in other words, detach from the mind.
yeah.
She had spoke those words to me a few days before, and it really struck me. Detach from the mind, because if you detach from the mind, you detach from everything. Anyway, long story short, it started raining really hard. I started freaking out. I jumped into savior mode. I jump in the car, which is a weak 4-wheel drive, and I start going up this road, and it's treacherous, dude. I mean, it's like big potholes everywhere. The
Wow.
rain's coming down. It's like a freaking river, and I'm going and going and going, and I'm just busting through this stuff, and not even thinking rationally, right? And I
Yeah,
see
yeah.
her in the distance. And it's pouring rain. She's got an umbrella. It's muddy as hell, and I end up getting stuck. And I mean, like stuck, like stuck,
Oh,
stuck.
slipping wheels.
Yeah, dude, I was stuck, and so like she came back. She handled it really well, and we both kind of knew what was happening. And this couple walked up, and they're like, "God, y'all are brave, man. Nobody drives their car down here."
No.
And she like tells them, "Well, the divine masculine was trying to save the divine feminine." And
Yeah.
but we ended up getting it out like 2 or 3 hours later. But it was a good lesson.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah,
good
yeah,
lesson,
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because the reality is she would have found her way back. She
Yeah.
would have come back. Morgan's very resilient. We're very resourceful, and it was just very, very muddy. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
but
I,
what can happen also in those situations that one goes this way, the other goes that way. They all have their own thoughts. They all start to think, oh, maybe he doesn't love me, she doesn't love me. You come back again, and you think, they all think the same. Actually, they want to hear, do you still love me, or I love you, or I need you? But they think the other one doesn't say it, so they go in the defensive mode, and then a quarrel starts, and the whole situation can go totally out of hand just because there was no communication going on. Have you noticed that also in certain situations?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Communication, eh? And women
yeah.
also because they haven't learned. It's of course a part of the upbringing to ask directly what they need. So we have
Who
to.
who the women?
Some women,
Yeah,
yes.
I think it applies to all of us. You're
Yeah.
brave, man. You're going to be getting some hate mail. Well,
Yeah. I,
but no, it does work both ways. And but okay, so I think what's happening is, the awareness is expanding. The masculine is standing on his own 2 feet, wobbly,
yeah, but we are
wobbly like
also
a.
going into their
But
realm because they are in the sensitive mode. So we also, and that maybe is
yeah,
also sort of a threat for them in a certain
uh,
way for the ego part of them because
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just seeing it from the masculine's eyes. I'm not. I'm actually seeing the whole ascension from my eyes now, because I'm not. Uh, I know that if I'm putting if I'm attached in the mind and thinking for someone else, I know that's not conducive to me expanding. But what I was going to say is, like, one of the things that's happening is with this expanded awareness. Look, we've been talking for a year. More and more men are getting on here and talking and bearing their soul. It's happening. It's reflective of the collective masculine energy.
yeah,
But
wonderful.
I'm going to say it. We're scared. This is new territory. We know
Yeah,
we have this incredible power. We know we carry sacred wisdom, just like the feminine does. But there's the human man that's having to uh, well, is
Yeah,
having
come home.
to think, and to make choices and to exercise free will in alignment with the highest good, which is counter to his template. Okay, so like today, I I talked to her, and I was literally having discomfort in my body as like it needed to come out. So I said to her, "Look, okay, so look, I know now that in my first two marriages, I suppressed my feelings. I suppressed my feelings and went from one extreme to another in the two marriages.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I just figured this out, right? 57 years old. I said, look, I know one thing now. I need to honor myself. I need to honor myself and be honest with you. And therefore, I'm honoring you and I'm honoring this relationship. Now,
yeah.
I know that sounds like something really simple, but I'll be damned if I would be surprised. Now, maybe I'm in the minority and maybe I'm just in the stupid category. I don't know, but I would be surprised if the majority of the men haven't suppressed their innermost feelings in regard to their power, their lack of power, their sexuality,
Yeah,
whatever it may be, with that partner of theirs, with their feminine partner.
definitely. They all carry some secrets inside of themselves about their vulnerability because that's how they were grown up and trained, and they started to play something they thought the other needed to be accepted. They thought they needed to deserve love, but actually then in deep inside they think they don't deserve it and they have to act in a certain way, and then we start to repress our feelings and yeah, and not communicating about it, and don't want to see our thoughts that are
Well,
not actually ours. They're just coming in, and but we identify sometimes with it, and then the whole game starts of people who are close in a relationship and living as far apart as two strangers because they don't even know each other, and they never said what they really felt. They don't even know what they felt anymore, what they feel anymore in a certain way.
well,
And I
yeah,
see that a
and
lot.
and I think it goes without saying that it doesn't matter what they do. Okay, whatever I'm doing it.
Yeah,
So it
that's
doesn't
correct.
matter if they're uh, not communicating or whatever. How do I
No.
know? How do
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
know?
yeah,
I have
yeah,
no
yeah,
idea. I have no idea. So the whole point is that um, that's kind of where I'm at. Is like I'm taking not just her, but everyone else is off the table. This is my stuff going on, right? This is what's happening with me in this transition, like you said, with the light body and the DNA upgrades. I know my body's talking to me. My body's telling me, all kinds of stuff. But
yeah,
the bottom line is these thinking for other people, reacting to other people. We know this is a solo ride. It
yeah,
begins and ends with this individuality, with ourselves. And I don't know, man. I just want to continue to expand as a sacred divine masculine, and I want to assist um, my brothers in doing the same if
yeah.
I
That's
can.
great.
You know,
Yeah, that's a
I
great
mean,
healing process
and and
that
and
is
and let me
starting.
just say one last thing. I have no freaking clue as to what's going on. Really, just no more than what we're talking about right now, which is the experiences of the last 24, 36 hours.
Yeah, we're stepping
I don't have
into
any
new
answers.
territory,
Hmm.
and we're pioneers in that to ourselves and maybe also to the masculine as a whole. And but that is how we discover new possibilities and new roads. And otherwise, we stay stuck in the same old patterns and the same old behaviors, circling around each other, and never really coming close. And that is the magic, because it is possible. And it's always what I say to Annette also. It's better to say it, because you say, yeah, but maybe when you say it, and we get an argument. But it's better to get an argument and to try to find ways to deal with it, with those emotions, than not to speak and not to say what is really going on, the deepest fears and the deepest vulnerabilities, because they are there, and also they are also in the man, just as
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
And yeah, you're right. And it's tricky because, yeah, because I think, I don't know about the feminine, but we withheld thinking they would get upset if we said something.
yeah,
Now, the thing is, first of all, it may not be, it may not be comfortable or painless. Let's put it that way.
yeah,
You might run the risk of, we've all experienced this when if it's coming or going, somebody or ourselves doing our best to be honest about something, and you could say in the old terms taken the wrong way, but it's really not. It's just a lost in translation. It's just a disconnect. One person's
yeah.
coming from one perspective, one's from the other. One has these shadows, one has those shadows. But if you do speak it, eventually it levels off, because the truth is not going to let you down, right?
No,
you know
exactly. Yes.
yeah,
And
so
we let ourselves down by not saying it, because we think we are going to be let down, and then it's already a closed case, because there is no chance to so what we own it to ourselves, to say the truth, and to the other one, because that's also what they say. Yeah, I don't want to say this to her or his, because I know he doesn't like it. But it's always his or her choice to be able to say if they like it or not. Otherwise, it's
mm,
also a staged play.
yeah.
Yeah.
You want to go over? Yeah, let's go over. Do you have to go to bed?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, so look, somebody made a comment. Heather made a comment. Heather Nilsson, thank you. I'm going to say
Ah,
he or
Heather. Yeah.
she, he or she gets upset, it is his or her wound that needs healing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's not,
Yeah.
you know what? I mean, I understand that.
Definitely. Yeah.
I get that, but we're in a higher, a more expanded state of awareness. One thing that's come to the surface for me, and I can't speak for Heather and I can't speak for anyone else, but one of the things I'm going to say it, I become more aware of, and I become better at by the day, and that's projection. Now, we think of projection like, oh, I'm going to go off on this person. That's projection. No, that's not the only type of projection. That's not the only way it looks. It can look a lot of different ways, and I think it's important to be self-conscious about what comes out of my mouth now, or even my thoughts, just like the Valentine's Day deal. My thoughts, I was in command. I was walking in my power. I saw us walking as a couple in our power in the ethers while I went on my walk. And when I came back, I was still in my power. And I said, okay, I'm just, as a human, I'm going to wait 30 minutes and sit in the car and, chill out to some music. But when
Yeah.
the rain came, I lost my fucking mind. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
That's
went
always a
back to the mind
situational.
attachment. But
Yeah.
my point is, I think that was a form of projection.
Yeah.
I projected my fear, and so yeah, it looks like this, silly, gooberish, as Morgan says, romantic attempt from the heart's intention
Yeah.
uh, to go save my girl.
Yeah. But yeah,
But
what you're saying, the projection is also just like thinking used as an instrument,
yeah,
and when it doesn't
yeah,
takes over, then we can handle it and we can work with it,
yeah,
because we have to project something to create also a sort of an ID, and that's always based on old experiences.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah,
exactly
yeah,
right.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not totally negative to project. It's just what we do with it.
You said something a minute ago too that we're going into their territory, and I don't know how you meant that exactly, but I see that as being a very true statement. And so,
Yeah, yeah,
you know, for the most part, and again, I say this all the time. That's why they call it women's intuition. They didn't say
yeah,
men's intuition. So the women were connected to the the higher chakras. Let's just put it that way.
yeah,
Okay, which is an etherical type of thing, and the men were connected to the lower chakras, which is a very physical type of thing.
yeah,
Okay, so coming to the we're actually meeting up in the higher dimensions or the higher levels or whatever you want to call
yeah. Bringing them both
it. And
together, and the two
yeah,
parts together make the circle round again, and that makes us whole. So
yeah,
it's both good, and they both need each other for
yeah,
guidance and for direction, and to be cared for. So they are actually
yeah,
not enemies, they are good friends, and together they can reach so much more and have so much more love energy. And yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So that, and you know what it is too. What I find, so we start to step into that field of energy that they've understood, that intuition,
yeah,
that type of thing, and and so we've gone through this demasculation where you lose all, like you used to say, the funny guy, the tough guy, all that stuff
yeah,
gets
yeah,
lost.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Then you're standing there holding your in your hand, going, "What do I do now?" and who am I? And so we get birthed. We're walking in this field that they're familiar with and that we've mostly only dreamt about. And all of a sudden, you start to realize how freaking powerful the man is, the divine masculine is. I'm not saying that I'm there, and I'm not saying I'm even close. I'm just saying you start to understand what it's not. We know what she's brought to the party. You start to understand that the masculine's got some sacred wisdom to bring in and fill 50% of that energy field. I don't know what it is exactly. I don't see anybody that has it down. But the thing is, um, it's enough to propel me forward through these fears and walk in faith
yeah,
and continue to drill down, because nothing teaches you more than these mirrors so close to you, and to
yeah,
hold in your space that it's never them, it's always me. Everything that's happening, I've arranged it. I've created it, and there's no fingers to point. So it's really a fast track kind of a deal, um,
yeah. It's amazing.
to me, that's happening to the masculine, or at least the opportunity for it.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, and a lot of people run from it because it's so tough sometimes, eh? And so, but I think then they are really missing the point. The people that don't dare to go into a relationship anymore. Of course, that can also be a phase, and we all been through that. But it can work so much faster when we go on that journey, and share it also not on separate islands, but towards the whole collective. So then it
Yeah,
everything speeds up. Yes. And
you
the
know,
50% you bring and the 50% Morgan brings, that brings the third energy. And that is when we start to create and manifest as the living energies, not only children, but also creative, um, yeah, love energy products like Soulogy,
That's,
because that is the portal to the whole new 5D dimensions that is
you know
opening
what?
up in this way in the child of you and Morgan. So that's the magic. Then
You just, yeah, you just hit the nail on the head, right? And
yeah,
you
I
know
don't
what?
even have a hammer.
Oh God. Oh God. So yeah, but yeah, okay. So like a week ago, we came home one night and she found this Rumi book, right?
Oh,
Rumi.
Rumi, yeah, it's a great poet. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And this book was like I don't know, like 60 or 80 different stories.
Yeah.
And so it was more of a prose than it was a poetry book.
Okay.
Anyway, so she opens the book up. You know how that goes. Someone just opens a book up and it's
Yes.
right. So he starts talking about this particular story, but the gist of the story was that the you know, what do you call it? Uh, Whatever, like Aesop's fable. The point of the story, right?
Yeah. True.
Was be careful who you have relations with, or when you do, because even if you don't produce a baby, you're producing a third energy. And that third energy, although may not be in the physical world, is very real.
Yes.
Be
Yes. Yes. Yes.
responsible,
Yes.
kind of deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, be responsible. And so
Yes.
what you're saying is very true. And then I think of another thing that um, she read to me by Richard Rudd, the author of the Gene Keys. Somebody had posted it, and it talked about how the sexual energetic exchange, and I guess product of, between people would evolve with these divine couples as they started to produce these third energies, and basically that the um, the pre-existing sexual exchange and energy and product would be kind of like transformed into what you're talking about, into collaborative, co-creative efforts. And I
Yeah.
can't remember what the other one. There was two things, but it's just what you just said. And
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
think, you know, we need, yeah, we need to recognize and understand that when two people come together, even if it's for, you know, whatever, there's a third energy being produced, and that
Exactly.
is a baby, and that
Yeah.
is an energetic life force
Yeah.
that is coming into play into our senses, into our sensory, uh, you know,
It
aspects.
materializes itself.
Yeah.
But it can also be, if it is a creation of love, it can also be a creation of fear, of possession, and that happens. And that's what I'm talking about, the contagious stuff. If people are in fear and suddenly see themselves separated from the rest and try to cut themselves off from the rest and their
Mm-hmm.
partners, they are creating a very dark energy around them, and that
Mm-hmm.
materializes itself also. Of course, it's the love will win, but if we are aware of that sort of power, over the power of trust and love and creation and surrender, and the power of the vulnerability, that's so much greater, because it seems like it's really fragile, but it's the strongest power there is. It's invisible, but it's really the source of all creation. And that's what we are manifesting now. And it is also new, because this is a new way of doing things, and especially in the 5D realm, all our thoughts get materialized on another level immediately. So that's why we have to learn to deal with it. Because if things are materialized immediately, what you think, and you don't have a clue about what you're creating, then it can also go into directions you don't want to go. Of course, that's also a learning experience, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like with
Yeah.
Soulogy, it can also go. That's what I saw. There was someone, and he wanted to bring spiritual ethics into the world. It looks like a good plan, but it is very hard to form ethics in a sort of a system of rules because they always are going to become dogmatic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. Of
Even
course.
though it seems perfectly right in true rules, but we're going to the 5D, and those rules don't work there.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Then also they try to the ethics. They try to get control over something that is uncontrollable, and even with the good intentions they have, it can go wrong, and then
Yeah.
you see a new sort of dogmatic system
Yeah.
happening.
Well, yeah.
And that's
And
why it's
yeah.
important to stay open for minds we maybe don't agree with, and try to communicate with
Yeah.
them and give them
Yeah.
time to open up, and then everything comes together because it's
Yeah.
also yeah.
Um, yeah. And I think that's another thing too is look, everything is changing. It's not just
Constantly, yeah.
it's not just relationships or we were talking about couples. All right. So it's not just that. It's not just the dynamics of that. Um,
It's on micro and
it's
macro level,
everywhere. It's
everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so, my thing is nothing that served us before is going to serve us now. So how do you get to the higher level, elevate, expand, fit 5D plus whatever? How do you get there? How do you expect to get there? How do I expect to get there if I'm going to do the same things I did before? It just
Yeah.
doesn't work. It doesn't
No,
work.
no.
So
And that's where the
whatever it
resistance
is,
comes in, and
yeah,
yeah. So we have to step into the unknown, into the chaos with one foot, and see
yeah,
where we land. And it's good because that's where evolution is bringing us, and things are opening up, and it goes forward if we go there. But if we stay stuck or halfway, then it doesn't happen.
no, no, it's an all or nothing. It's an all or nothing thing,
Yeah, and
you
it's
know.
all and
So
nothing at the same time because we
yeah,
are transcending the duality. We're becoming aware of that it is
mm,
the nothing that is necessary for the all, because without nothing the all has no space to present itself in, to to unfold into.
yeah,
Yeah, but that are things that our mind is very hard to, because the mind just wants this or that, or left or right, or good or bad, but that is not how it's working anymore.
no.
So that's why
Well,
it's so hard.
yeah, and a lot of stuff. I mean, this young brother here making a comment: smoke a joint and expand.
Yeah,
Well, I would just say that if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But you're talking to two people. Well, I can speak for myself, who's done it all.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Probably
yeah,
1,000 times fold more than this kid making the comment. No offense. And you've done ayahuasca, and you've done mushrooms, and so on and so on. What I'm trying to
yeah.
say, just using that as an example, is that I can do that now. It doesn't have the same effect.
No,
I
exactly.
don't need to do ayahuasca again because it's not going to have the same effect. This vibration that we're carrying is
Yeah,
is carrying what is similar to those types of things
exactly.
that stimulated us to through certain portals, elevations, and so on.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
that
my
just
and my
opened it
point
up.
is it's a high beyond highs. It's a whole nother dimension.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've spent some days trying to get high just to come down, and it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah,
it
the
doesn't work.
becoming high is just a contraction if you compare it to
Oh,
that kind of high,
I'm
because
sorry.
it's
He's
only a
he's
certain.
45. Adam Kahn. Thank you
Oh,
for your comment. I just saw a picture of a race car. I didn't know.
yeah.
I
Well,
apologize.
see it as a
I'm
compliment.
I'm
So,
57, so uh yeah, man. So I don't know, man. I don't have any answers.
no.
The only thing is you know, walk through these fears to get to the truth. And this show, I had to, you know, I didn't know you were on this morning. Morgan's been doing the scheduling,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
all the shows seem to follow in synchronicity. So I thought, I'm going to talk about this. This is what I'm going through. I believe that the masculine are going through this. The masculine need to detach from their dick. Okay, they need to
yeah.
detach from their identity being uh, tied to their dick, okay, to their performance, whether it be at work, in the bedroom, in the kitchen, in the garage, or wherever the hell it may be. We got to do this. We can't get to where we're going by holding on to the practices that we've had and the patterns and behaviors that we've had before. We got to be brave. We've got to be able to say, you know, this is who I am without this physical body. This is who I am without, just like we did without, this is who I am without these
Yeah.
things that happened to me or that I experienced or that were done to me or I did to myself in my past. We've got to be brave, and we've got to say, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm not going to do what I did before. I'm
Yes.
not going to project. I'm not going to be afraid. I'm not going to suppress my feelings. I'm not going to be live and die by this divining rod between my legs. You know, I'm not going to do it. Okay. And I'm not going to bullshit myself anymore. I've had enough, period.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the beauty of that, now I'm thinking, is that we first created, it's maybe the same in a physical way to create offspring, and now we are at a stage that we can create offspring in a more spiritual way.
That's what
So,
that Richard Rudd thing said. That Richard Rudd
okay,
said thing create expanding creativity and conscious creation. I don't remember exactly, but that's what it said. You know what I mean? And there was something else in there that he said, which was cool. She reiterated it this morning to me.
okay,
That's proper English, by the way. Reiterate, because I've been saying
reiterate.
reiterate because I'm Southern, I'm Texan. Reiterate. She says say reiterate. Anyway, but
Okay,
she yeah. So it was like it said something like the same energy that brings the masculine and feminine together uh, to procreate is the same energy that repels them from each other. Now
yeah,
think about that.
yeah,
She
yeah,
had to
yeah.
say it to me like 5 times, and I started to get it. You know, but yeah. So you know, yeah,
Wonderful. Yes, it's magic. And we're
yeah.
also in a creative process now because it's all creation, and that's why it also feels new and like an unknown path and way and direction. But that's also how we get used to this territory, new place we are going to, or already are in, but starting to notice because it already was there. I think, but we are getting prepared to see it. Yeah.
uh, here's our friend Ebola Barris. Thank you. She put in the chapter that Morgan had read to me, which is the
Ah,
marriage of the sacred couple from Gene Key, from the Gene Keys, number 55, Gene Key 55, Richard Rudd. There's a link. Yeah. So, and it talks
okay.
about too. It talks about these sacred couples' role in expanding or bringing in the new earth. kind of
Ah,
deal.
nice.
It's an interesting read. Yeah.
Is that did she put the link under the show?
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
there's a link there. It's Gene Key 55, Marriage of the Sacred Couple,
Oh,
and
nice.
that
I'm
stuff's in there.
going to look into it.
Yeah. So yeah, man. So I was going to ask you too. Are you getting together with those folks over there, Lindsay and
Yeah, exactly. That is Friday, the
mhm.
23rd of February. Is that Friday or Saturday? I think it's
Shit, I
Saturday.
don't know. I have
Uh,
no idea. Don't
yeah,
ask me something like that. So
I think it's Saturday. But that's also nice because we all have our talents, and if we bring them together, and then it also can create a lot of new things, and things
yeah.
can speed up because we don't
Well, I
have
think
to, yeah,
yeah.
invent the wheel all by ourselves again. And yeah, some people are good in this, some people are good in that, and yeah,
Yeah, I think it's great too because it's nice to see people getting together,
yeah,
coming together like that that we've interacted with, for the last few years, and so that's pretty cool because that's like the third get together I've been aware of or meeting that I've been aware of in your area in Amsterdam area.
yeah.
You know, so I would encourage you to turn your camera on at the function. And
Okay, yeah,
I don't know who's setting it up. Who's setting it up? Is it Lindsay? Is she
yeah.
setting
Lindsay,
it up?
one who initiated it.
I'm going to reach out to her. Maybe we could broadcast some of that
Yeah, no,
here on Soulogy. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be real cool. We would just
the
have to have a
chemistry in play, eh?
yeah. That would be cool. Yeah, we could actually broadcast it and stream it.
Yeah, some live reactions and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
So when's Annette and you coming on at the same time?
Yeah, I asked Annette. She said, "No, I'm not ready for it," and this and that. But
Well,
she
all right.
still, yeah, she first said the spiritual stuff was something that was not attached to the earth, but now her friends say she is getting more down to earth just
Yeah.
because of the spiritual stuff,
Yeah.
because that it brings us deeper into the reality. So that was very nice to hear also.
Yeah.
I see there's something on your right shoulder. Is that no, not on the shoulder, but there is something
That
behind you.
Oh, behind me. What's
Is that
behind me?
a piece of art or something with the holes in it? Do you see it or not?
No, it's a table.
Oh,
Well, it
it
could
looks
be a
like a
piece of art.
very old with rune signs or something.
Yeah, it's I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be here. I'm
yeah,
happy to be here. Yeah. So yeah,
great.
man. Morgan's heading back to Adelaide in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
And so I'm going to be up here for about 90 to 100 days until she gets back. And so she's booking March. And I'll make sure that, yeah, we'll get together,
yeah,
every couple of weeks so we can talk about the demasculation and
yeah.
remasculation of the divine sacred masculine.
Okay.
In other words, we can talk about how his physical balls are being cut off and his etheric balls are growing
Yeah.
like new teeth.
Yeah, maybe the physical balls have to pop open, and then there's a new the spiritual stuff grows out of it like a seed.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
Lindsay now. Lindsay, I'd love to
Hi,
stream
Lindsay.
the get together over there that y'all are having on the 23rd. So I'll reach out
Yeah,
to you.
looking
Hank,
forward to
I
it.
hate to get off the phone, man, but I
Yeah,
need
then
to
why
go.
do you?
Actually, because I
So,
want
so you
to,
don't
yeah.
love me anymore. You just want.
That's I love what you said about the whole thinking for the other person thing,
Yeah.
man. Because it makes no because it makes it kind of difficult because we are more telepathic. So on one
Yes.
hand,
So, whew,
and on the other hand, you don't know.
yeah.
Uh,
But they
you
can
know,
draw
and
away a lot of energy if
hmm,
it's really strong. And
yeah,
then, but that can also be the mind filling in things
yeah,
that
you
are
got
not
to
there.
detach from the mind. To
Yeah,
me, that she told me that a few days ago. She was channeling some stuff, uh, and uh, and that was one of the things that came out of it. And I thought, man, that's got to be the number one rule of the road.
yeah,
Just key. And then I have this perfect example materialize before my eyes on Valentine's Day, and I sat there and watched myself do it. So f that, I ain't doing it again.
yeah. That was
You
a
know,
great example. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, also
So
detachment doesn't mean we have to totally cut ourselves off from it. Eh? That's what some of the
no,
old
no,
methods are, but then we're going in the wrong. But not uh, letting it direct us. The
yeah.
thoughts.
We're not quite ready to launch the web page, and I don't want to talk about it, but I'm good with it. I'm not attached to it. I'm not attached to
Yeah,
anything.
take some time.
But I'd love to do, and in all seriousness, not bells and whistles and bullshit. I would love to get a panel of men who aren't going to tap dance and fluffy love and light and all that crap. Who are going to sit here and say the real shit. What are you going through? What the hell's happening in this moment? What's it been like? And I see some people. Miguel Dean is one. I see uh, some men stepping up and really talking the real shit. I mean,
Yeah,
not this metaphysical mumbo jumbo. And I'm sure I've done it. And I know I do it. Whatever. But I'm talking about the real gold is in the experiences we're having. And
yeah,
I think it's time. Uh, you know, I told Morgan the other day. I'll tell you this. All right. So I told her the other day we were doing a session, and I said I want you to know I appreciate and love you for all that you've been able to teach me and your patience. That's a big one for these 3 years, and I think this is representative of the collective masculine and feminine. And so, but I told her, I said, you know what? I feel like I'm ready to get off the tit here. I'm ready to go. I can do this now. I know I can. It's time for the masculine to bring his sacred wisdom to the party. I don't know how to do it, but I know that if we stay conscious in the moment and continue to be committed to our expansion and our growth, that whatever we need will come in that moment. And
yeah.
like you said, it's contagious. And when one of us steps up, many more will. So,
Yes,
uh,
yes, yes, yes.
the divine feminine, has led the way and still does to a point because the numbers prove that. But it's time for us to come out, and that
Yes,
means we have to lose our balls to
yes,
get
yes,
our to
yes,
get our balls. We have to
yes,
lose our
yes.
fake
Because
balls to get
yeah,
our real balls.
and it's also what you said, coming off the tit. That's also when a woman feels she's not needed anymore. She tries to keep us on the tit, and sometimes that's metaphorically said. But when we're off the tit, then we can come back to her real, not being
Yeah,
dependent on what they provide or what
yeah,
they do,
yeah,
or
yeah.
yeah,
We got something. We got something. Can you hear me?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So we got something to bring to this party. We have
yeah,
sacred wisdom to bring to this party. Don't ask me what it is because I don't know. All right. But we have something to bring to this party, and I'm excited to know what it is. And
yeah.
I'm excited to see what the mixture of the empowered sacred divine masculine and the divine sacred feminine, the mixture of that energy becomes, because that in
Wow.
itself is a
Whoa.
collective golden child.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. It's
So
totally coming home of humanity. So that's wonderful.
yeah. All
I'm
right. I'll
looking
see you in a
forward
couple of
to it.
weeks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Morgan
Tell
already sent me
giving that
confirmation.
giving that a hug and a kiss, and big hug
I
to
will.
you. and kiss. Fuck it, I'll kiss you too, man.
Yeah.
And thank you for your continued love, support, and contribution to both of you and Annette. That's
Thank you.
a
Yes.
very
Very happy
very much
to be
appreciated.
there. Yeah.
All
And
right,
I'm gonna
man.
share it all. I'm gonna totally naked. Everything.
I'll be with you. Hey, when we have our own website, we can do it. What the hell with it?
Yeah.
We'll just yeah. I
Yes.
think that
Yeah.
makes it. Yeah, we'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Then you
Yeah,
feel totally vulnerable, and that's also
yeah,
nothing to hide anymore.
yeah,
So why not?
yeah. All right, you
Okay.
got it.
Thank you very
All right,
much.
man. All
Have
right,
a good
you take.
day.
All right, brother. I'll see you. Take
Yeah.
care.
See
Love
you
you.
later. Bye,
Love
Todd.
you.